I am back up at the parents' cabin. Came up for Labor Day weekend. Excited to give these a try. This is the Raid Big Two-Way. It's their two-way series. Comes in a bunch of different baits, or sizes, I should say. And it's funny, you know, I had a buddy, another pro fisherman, tell me I needed to give these a try. He said he's been catching a lot of fish, wacky rigging it. And the funny thing is, he had seen my review video on the dice, and he's like, Matt, I know you don't like the dice, big hairy cube, but you need to try the Raid Two-Way. And he told me about it, and he told me that he's basically just fishing it the same way you'd throw a soft stick bait. And he's catching some good quality fish, and he seems like he's generating strikes when no other baits are generating strikes. And I'm kind of mixed on it, you know, knowing that it's a big hairy tentacled bait, similar to the cube in a way, definitely doesn't excite me. Knowing that a buddy of mine is telling me I need to try it, and he's not the type to tell me to try random things, excites me. And honestly, one of my all-time favorite baits is a bluegill's dinking on it. First cast. One of my favorite baits is the old Arky Centipede. So if you're familiar with that, that's about the same size as the two-way I'm throwing here. And it's just full of tentacles. And it is a bait for whatever reason. When fishing is tough, I can generate strikes. I'll fish it, Texas rig it, I'll throw it on a drop shot, or I'll throw it on a Carolina rig. And it reminds me a lot of that, because it's got the tentacles out in the same direction as, you know, like you'd have feet on a centipede. And yeah, so we're gonna give it a try, give you a review on it. I'm a little concerned based on it's a big, thick, bulky bait, and because I'm wacky rigging it right in the center of the bait, as I'll show you, I'm a little concerned potentially of durability. It is definitely a little, you know, a thicker, tougher material, so I'm not really that worried it's going to rip out necessarily on the cast. I'm more worried about when I catch fish, it might do it. And in this case, my buddy told me to put a small nail weight in it if you're fishing deeper. And here, you know, I'm generally fishing 6 to 8 foot of water, so I do have a real small nail weight. Maybe you can see that if I show it to you against the sun. It's about 6:30 in the morning. If you watch my channel on a regular basis, you know the routine. I'm out for a little bit before the kids get up, so I really don't have a whole lot of time. I have about an hour. I'm a little later than I normally would be. So we're gonna see if we can catch anything. We're gonna review it and let you know what I think about this Raid Two-Way. Ooh. That one feels real good. If it's a bass. That is not a bass. Well, that didn't take long. It took like, God, I think it's a big pike, and a pike or a little muskie. It's something long. It took like 4 casts. What do we got? We got a nice pike. Well, it's official, as Marlin says. Pike like two-ways. Holy cow. Hopefully you can see that tentacled thing down there. Well, this is going to lead to me having to retie. I think he just, where'd it go? Came out. All right, there you go. Pike like, there it is, pike like 2-ways. Just got all retied. I'm just gonna, you know, review the bait real quick from the standpoint of I just caught a nice pike and the bait is in perfect shape. Hook never moved. Definitely a plus in terms of durability, but it was one fish and he had it all the way down in his crushers. So from that standpoint, bait didn't move a whole lot, but we are on a lake that does not have a whole lot of pike. So it's not like I'm catching pike left and right here. So it is a bite. That was probably started by that dock. 5 casts, I don't know. Good sign, I guess. And he really zapped it hard. So he really wanted to eat it. Let's keep her moving, as we say. Rock bass, like 2-ways. There's one. Not a big one, but largemouth, like 2-ways. Oh, big one. Nice one. Golly. Come here. You got my 2-way. That's a good one for here. I mean, that's a, golly, that's a thick fish, probably a 3 1/4. That is a nice one. On the old 2-way, definitely enjoying it. That might be a 3 1/2. That's a nice one. All right. Okay. Well, that's the first one I've gone through, and I've had a bunch of action. I have missed a couple. You know, I probably, with a big bulky bait like this, I'm throwing a little finesse wide gap, which is the one that I like to throw for wacky rigs. I probably should be going to more of a Nico style hook, a little bit longer shank, just because it is a bigger bulbous bait. Definitely got some good action. One thing I want to point out, and like I said, I was throwing a nail weight. This is a 32nd ounce nail weight. One thing I like in my wacky rigs is what I call good snapback or bounce back. What I mean by that is I want a bait, when I twitch it, the bait's going to come back on its own. So when you twitch it, the bait folds up. I want it to spring back like that. Some baits, longer, skinnier worms, will actually just kind of stay in a U shape and then slowly like come back. And the reason I like that bounce back like this, and this bait has a ton of it, is it actually will like put brakes on the water. So you pull it and it's almost like the bait wants to spring back. It looks real natural. So I'll show you in the water. It's got real good spring back. Hopefully you can see it. And there is some form of scent on these. I don't know offhand what it is, but the bait folds up real good and springs right back. But when it does it, it really bounces back. And I like that a ton. I'll twist it up here. Let's get back to it. So that's one of the things my buddy told me. He said, you'll get better than average size. Now I've had, you know, one small bass. I caught a nice pike. I've missed a couple fish, and I think that's more due to my hook. Caught a nice rock bass. I got a nice bass. That's what he said it was after. So, you know, to me, it is definitely a bigger profile, and they have all kinds of different sizes. I'll show you those here in a minute. All right, so this is the two-way I've been throwing. They call this one just the big two-way. When I ordered it off a Tackle Warehouse, they had a whole bunch of different sizes. I was really surprised. I was expecting to see one size. So, you know, when my buddy told me I had to get them, I wasn't thinking, okay, I got to figure out which size to throw. But for example, this is what they call the Magnum two-way. This is the one I've been throwing. This is a very large plastic bait, big bulbous style bait. I mean, it's not huge in size. I'm going to say it's probably only 5 inches from a body standpoint, but it just got a lot of mass to it. But then they also offered them way down into little ones that I'm really excited to throw. They call this one just the little two-way. I think they've got like a mini two-way. I mean, we're talking comparison purposes, really small little bait. The detail on these are phenomenal. They do have a really nice ribbing on it, but I like how the legs, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but the legs, let me get a clean one, a bigger one. The legs are ribbed all the way down, so they've got a lot of natural lifelike movement. Flow is really good in the water. Like I was showing you, it has really good spring back to it. So I think, you know, as a wacky rig, I think it'll work great. I think if you want to throw it on a drop shot, that would work really well. And that's where I'm excited to throw this little one. I think this is going to be a killer on smallmouth. Now, I haven't tried it yet. This is the first time I've ever used these. But the movement on them is excellent. There is some form of scent on it. I don't know offhand what it is, but I mean, there is an oily matter. So when you put it in the water for a while, it definitely disperses like a little oil slick. And it seems like the fish are liking it. I mean, we've been out for, I don't know, it's probably an hour and 20 minutes, so I do got to get back. So it's longer than what I was expecting. But some of that has been setting up the camera and getting stuff taken care of and rigging up stuff. So I really have probably only fished for an hour. Caught a couple of bass, caught a pike, caught a rock bass. I've gotten a ton of bluegill tugs on it. And that I think is natural with the legs to it, but they've held up great. I've gone through 2 the entire time. I've gone through 2, which, you know, when I'm pulling it through heavy grass and pads, I mean, that's really actually pretty impressive in my opinion when it's being connected by something that's only, you know, a 1/4 inch. It's less than 1/2 inch. So I'm impressed. I'm going to continue to give these a workout. I'm going to continue to give them a try and figure out different ways to use them. You know, I definitely was able to generate one really nice quality bite, which on this lake is a really good quality fish. So if that's what they can do, is catch bigger quality fish, I'm all about them. And yeah, so check them out, guys. I have no affiliation. The Raid Japan Magnum two-way or little two-way or big two-way, it's the two-way series. I'll put the link for you guys to go check out at Tackle Warehouse. They did have a bunch. The colors are really cool too, very natural colors. This is like a cola type color, which is definitely always one of my favorites. Yeah, just cool baits. I'm glad that my buddy recommended it, and I'm looking forward to giving them more of a workout, really figuring out where to use them, how to use them. I think on a Carolina rig too. I do think that's something that would work really well too. But I'm going to get back in for breakfast. If I don't go pick up Hank, he's going to be unhappy with me. So I got to get going. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned, new video coming out tomorrow.